I had always been drawn to the wilderness, the allure of untouched nature, and the thrill of venturing into the unknown. So when my friends suggested a camping trip deep in the heart of the forest, I couldn't resist. Little did I know that this adventure would become a nightmarish tale etched into my memory forever. We arrived at the camping site in high spirits, the excitement palpable in the air. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows through the towering trees. As we set up our tents and kindled the campfire, I noticed a strange sensation, a feeling of being watched. I brushed it off as the unease of being in an unfamiliar environment and tried to focus on the camaraderie of the group. As darkness enveloped the forest, the fire crackled and cast dancing shadows on the trees. We shared stories and laughter, our voices echoing through the woods. Yet, even in the midst of the merriment, that unsettling feeling of being watched persisted. As the night wore on, we huddled closer to the fire, seeking comfort in its warm embrace. The forest seemed to come alive with nocturnal creatures, their calls echoing through the night. But amidst the symphony of nature, a strange noise caught our attention, a faint, eerie melody carried by the wind. "Do you hear that?" Amy, one of my friends, asked, her voice trembling. We fell silent, straining our ears to listen. The melody grew louder, a haunting tune that seemed to come from deep within the woods. "It's probably just some animal," Mike said, trying to sound brave. But I could see the unease in his eyes. The melody continued, luring us like a siren's song. Against our better judgment, we followed the sound, deeper into the darkness. The trees seemed to close in around us, and the forest felt unfamiliar and foreign, as if it had transformed into a labyrinth. "What are we doing?" Lisa whispered, her voice barely audible above the haunting melody. "I don't know," I replied, my heart pounding in my chest. "It's like we're being drawn to something." We reached a clearing, and the source of the melody became apparent. A weathered old piano stood under the moonlight, its keys seemingly played by an invisible hand. The eerie sound sent shivers down my spine. "This can't be real," Eric said, disbelief written on his face. The piano seemed out of place, a relic from the past lost in the heart of the forest. As I stared at it, a sense of foreboding washed over me. But there was something mesmerizing about the music, an ethereal beauty that held us captive. "I'm going to play," Amy said suddenly, her eyes fixed on the piano. "No, Amy, it's too dangerous," I pleaded, but she was already walking towards it. As Amy's fingers touched the keys, the melody changed, an eerie tune that sent chills down my spine. The forest seemed to respond, the wind picking up, and the trees swaying as if dancing to the music. "Stop, Amy! This isn't right!" Mike shouted, but she seemed entranced, lost in the haunting melody. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. The forest became suffocating, as if the very air had thickened. The trees around us seemed to come to life, their branches reaching out like gnarled fingers. "We have to leave! Now!" I yelled, grabbing Amy's arm, but she resisted. "I can't stop!" she said, her voice distant and hollow. As if on cue, the trees closed in around us, forming an impenetrable barrier. Panic surged through my veins as I realized we were trapped. The haunting melody grew louder, and the forest seemed to twist and contort, transforming into a nightmarish maze. We stumbled through the darkness, desperate to find an escape route, but the trees seemed to shift and move, leading us deeper into the heart of the forest. "We shouldn't have come here!" Lisa cried, her eyes wide with fear. The forest seemed to taunt us, its malevolence palpable. The haunting melody became overwhelming, its notes discordant and menacing. Then, out of the darkness, a figure appeared, a spectral figure with hollow eyes and a mournful expression. The melody emanated from him, his ghostly form swaying to the haunting tune. "It's him," I whispered, my heart sinking. "The spirit of the forest." The figure reached out, his ethereal touch cold and lifeless. I could feel the malevolence in his presence, the weight of centuries of sadness and anger. "Run!" I screamed, but it was too late. The forest closed in around us, swallowing us whole. The haunting melody engulfed us, and we became trapped in a never-ending nightmare, a twisted reality where time stood still and escape was futile. As the forest claimed us, I realized we had become part of its dark and malevolent history, a haunting tale that would remain forever etched into its depths. The forest had claimed us, and there was no way out.